Today is Friday, August 30th, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, NVDY, and MSTY. But real quick, obviously yesterday there was an issue with the upload. There was no sound for stupid alarm. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but this has happened before, which basically, I had sound on my end. So when I uploaded it, there should not have been an issue, but for whatever reason, the file would not get sound because I tried it 3 different times and still nothing. So the only solution I had was, number one, I could redo the video, but I didn't have time. I had work, so I couldn't do that. So the only alternative was I had to upload it to Instagram, and I did that in 3 different videos. So go check it out if you haven't seen yesterday's video. I have the link, for my Instagram attached to yesterday's video. But here are yesterday's trades. So basically TSLY closed out their trades. Not going to go through them again, but they won. They won their trades for the week. CONY, they closed out their trades as well, and they won their trades for the week. And then MSTY added 500 contracts to the synthetic and sold a call into the following week. As far as the trades that were made yesterday, NVDY had a trade. Well, NVDY had a lot of trades. So they had a buy call, sell put, sell call on the top, adding 4,050 contracts to the synthetic and then using them to sell calls. Now, I was saying on yesterday's video, obviously you couldn't hear me unless you went to Instagram, that they haven't had new contracts in a while. And sure enough, here they are, 4,050 of them. So maybe they were holding back. I'm not sure. And then look at these BCs. We were awaiting the 830 expirations. We thought they didn't have a chance, but oddly enough, after a good earnings report, NVIDIA went down, securing the profit for these calls. And by the way, NVIDIA went down, to my knowledge, really for no reason other than they didn't blow earnings out of the water like they usually do, which is insane. That's how crazy NVIDIA is. And then they sold calls into next week. 2 different strikes, 126, 127. That's on the bottom. So let's take a look at the spreadsheet. God, if that alarm thing screwed up my sound, I may just cry. All right, so no trades for TSLY yesterday, by the way. So, all right, so they have a synthetic 116. Here it is. I always forget. This is the one. Yeah, they only have the one synthetic. So if we go here, here's the 4,050 contracts that they added. And they paid, the call was a little more expensive than the put. So they had to pay a little out of pocket, about $2 million to add to this position because right now it's 1.37% above, the actual strike. 22 days till expiration, though. So hopefully, NVIDIA will recover and they'll actually make some good money on this. I can delete this note now because we can move on now from the earnings discussions. Now, the long-awaited 830, but before we get there, NVIDIA went down yesterday 6.38%, NVIDIA went down 1.65%. So NVIDIA dominated NVIDIA yesterday. That's pretty amazing stuff right there. Now, let's go to that 830 that we all complained about. So, they had contracts. Again, they sold these 2 weeks out, right? They sold these 2 weeks out. They went 5% out of the money 2 weeks out on NVIDIA through earnings, and they won. All right, guys, they won. So this is why, we invest in these, because this is not something, at least this is not something I would do. But this is something I would, have an expert do with my money. And here's a situation where obviously it was very, very successful. Now they paid 57 cents and 8 cents to close these. So again, you can't get much better than that. Obviously, you see they called debit. They only paid about 1.5, 1.6 million to close these. In the end, the profit was over $30 million. over $30 million. Again, that was over 2 weeks, but still, that's really amazing numbers. Again, as much as we bitch, we have to give credit where credit is due. Did they get lucky? I don't know. Again, people, they do a lot more research, you would think, than we do, right? So I don't know. Yeah, it worked out. That's all I know. All right, now let's look at the new contracts. So again, they have the 4,050. These are, that's the new synthetic position that they added. So they're going to use these right away. And they chose a 126 strike price, and that's 7.15% out of the money. They have today, trading day, and they have 4 days next week. So that's for 5 trading days. So that's not bad. They did 5, look at last time. They did what, 5% out of the money for like 10 trading days. So here they are with 5 trading days, 7% of the money. All right, so now they have the contracts to use from up here, 20,000 and 59,000. The 59,490, they chose the 126 strike price as well, obviously 7.15% out of the money. 20,000 contracts, they chose a 127 strike price. That's 8% out of the money. So again, not bad, pretty good position. They made really good premium for it, right? Was that 11, 12, almost 13 mil? Good stuff there, man. So, the implied volatility already going down, so the premium won't be as attractive anymore. But still, it is what it is. It was a win. It was, I have nothing to say, but thank God. All right, outstanding shares did go up 125,000. The recap is 30-day IV, 51%. Outstanding shares, 39,525,000. Unfortunately, we did not turn net income positive. Well, the number's positive, but obviously it would have to reflect a credit if, we made enough call credits versus call debits. But earlier in the month, we kind of got killed. So, this 63 mil kind of destroyed us and we never recovered. But certainly last week's, or 2 weeks ago, 30 mil, that helped. But we'll see what the numbers produce. NVDY fund manager, I think he's taken off today. I think he went out last night. He went to the club because, he was getting beat up left and right for that trade. And here he is winning. He said, I'm just going to go out and celebrate. You guys are on your own tomorrow. Synthetic income, 11 mil. Short call loss, 30 mil. So what do we got? We got total income is a loss. Short call income is a loss. So we got no estimate to provide you. And I know there was no audio yesterday, so I have to explain the ROD estimator edition. Obviously in blue, that's my estimate based on actual payment data, which is based on taxable income or losses. So obviously the losses are more than the income, so that's why it's negative. So we can ignore my blue estimate and we could focus on the red estimate. The red estimate is telling you, what percent is the IV. The IV is 52%, the 30-day IV. Typically, that's what they strive to yield. So my opinion on what will they pay, when I make my estimate, when they don't have income, this is one of the factors. What is their IV? So if I take their IV, I multiply it by the price, the current price of NVDY, and I divide it by 12, I get $1.08. So right now, that is my estimate based on just that data. $1.08 is less than last month. Last month was $1.25, but still, it's a pretty good distribution overall. Most people are going to want more, but we'll see what we get. Outstanding holdings, we got the synthetic. We get to start talking about soon, but that comes up September 20th. Right now, we're actually making money. And then we have the weeklies into next week. Plenty of time to talk about that. No reason to talk about the synthetic bailout money, but we'll keep that there in case we need to use it. Net asset value, obviously, since NVIDIA dipped, we're staying under that bill. We're 987 mil. The NAV is 24.99. Trade price 25.03. So that's the update for NVIDIA. Moving on to CONY, a lot of trades. Whew. I opened up yesterday's trades. I'm like, All right, so CONY, buy call, sell put, sell call. Top three. Typical transaction, adding 530 contracts to the synthetic position, and they sold a call using those same contracts into next week. Now, the four on the bottom, again, I'm just not understanding this strategy at all. This is something, if I don't remember to bring it up, you guys have to when we interview Jay, which is at the end of September. But they sold out of a 210 synthetic, losing money, and they moved it to 195 synthetic, costing them money. I just don't understand why that's necessary. I don't. And you'll see when you look at the numbers. All right, so let's go to... I was going to do something yesterday and I completely forgot. I'll remember next time. All right, so here's the 210. 13,050 contracts. They closed it out, right? How much did they make? Well, they didn't make anything. They lost 17.6 mil. As you can see in column G, that's what the total is. So they got rid of this 210 synthetic completely. This is not the part that I have an issue with, because this is already baked into, the net asset value, right? Because these prices right there, that was already in, the price of the call, the price of the put. So whether or not they closed it wouldn't have changed. That it would just be a swap movement from there, from the options position to the cash position. Okay, but they moved it to the 195, right? They didn't, if they moved it to, say, a 185 position, that would have, essentially cost them nothing. But they forced it into the 195, which actually cost them, this is new money now, right? This would come from the cash. This cost them $3 million. So, I don't know. It just seems like a forced move for whatever reason. Is this something related to getting assigned early? I know some of these can get assigned early. Is it related to that? Is there actually some strategy I'm not understanding? Or is this just taking losses for tax purposes? I don't know. I just don't know. But from the outside looking in, just basic stuff, just basically looking at this, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, they added to the 195 synthetic. So now the 195 holds 28,580 contracts. The good news is it doesn't expire for 50 days. So plenty of time to recover and make some money there. The 200 is still lingering. So they have 5,000 contracts here, 5.86% away from their strike, though, in 22 days. This one expires. So if they close this one, they could, take a loss again and then move it to the 195 and lose more money. Again, for whatever reason, I don't know. Then why have multiple synthetics if you're going to do this in the end? Why not just wait if you can? Again, whatever. All right, let's go to the August tab. Coin went down 1.01% yesterday, and CONY went down 0.83%. So as far as trades are concerned, we talked about what they did on the synthetic. Now we could talk about... by the way, we didn't even talk about the 530. So they added the 530. It should be, there it is. They added the 530 also to the 195 synthetic. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Okay, so since they added that, they used those contracts right away. They chose a 205 strike price expiring next Friday, September 6th. It's 8.88% out of the money. This has an annualized yield of 71%. Yes, I need to zoom out. So they're yielding 71%. How does that match up to their IV? Their IV is 64%. So some would call that a little aggressive. Now the other positions, heading into next week, they have they expire next week as well. They have 15,950 contracts, 205 strike price. 8.88% out of the money, and then they have 17,100 contracts, 207.50 strike, 10% out of the money. So Again, they got a 205 and a 207.50 for next week for 5 trading days. Not bad. They're in a pretty good position. We'll see how today goes, though. Crypto's been kind of like wishy-washy. It's been declining on as of late. So, as much as it declines, it could pop up at any moment. Outstanding shares, it went up 225,000. All right, 30-day IV, 64%. Outstanding shares, 41.2 mil. Net income from the weekly calls, 32 mil. Distribution, 78 cents. Daily income, 3 cents a day. Daily yield, 0.21%. If you annualize that, that comes to 76% on an annualized basis. And that's more than the 30-day IV. So they are doing their job and then some. Look at that. CONY, what a story this month. What a turnaround, right? We thought they were going to get killed. We thought most of these were going to get killed, but things are, working their way. This is kind of just my face, to be honest, with these synthetic moves that seem to happen on CONY a lot. But, like I said, whatever. Synthetic loss, 100 mil for the month. So let's focus on the short call income. They made $32 million for the month of August. Now, estimates are due. I have to get them out actually this weekend. So that's, unless they have a trade today, these are pretty much the numbers I'm going to use. So if you look, we're looking at short call income per share of 78 cents. Throw that into the estimator, which calculates based on the number of days left. It comes to about 97 cents. That's a 75% yield. However, their implied volatility is 64%. So if they, pay based on that, that would be an 83 cent distribution. So right now, these are the ranges, possible ranges that I'm showing. Again, one other factor I look at is the price change from the previous ex-dividend date up into the current date. Depending on how much that increased or decreased, that may adjust my decision on how I calculate the distribution. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, either way, it looks like it's going to be a decrease from the prior month. All right, so holdings. Again, we got 2 synthetics now from, we did have 3, now we have 2. And then we have 2 weeklies. We'll see how this all plays out. Net asset value. Oh, yeah, by the way, the cash that they needed to move to the new synthetic, they're in the negative. They don't even have cash. They have negative cash. Obviously, they can move money around and fix that, but I just thought that was funny to add on top of it. Net asset value, 636 mil. The NAV is 15.45. Trade price, 15.45. Okay, moving on. Last but not least, MSTY. I had to double take on this one. 500 again, same exact trade as yesterday pretty much. So they added 500 to the synthetic position. The synthetic 139, same position. And then they used those 500 and they sold a call into next week. Pretty basic stuff here. By the way, I made a large purchase on MSTY yesterday for my dividend car. I know you guys couldn't hear the content on that either, but I will make a separate video on that. Okay, so yesterday, see, look, day before they had 500, and then yesterday they had 500. Anyway, so what did they make? They actually made money on that. So they made about, $160,000 to add to that position. I'll take it because the price of MSTR is actually below the strike of this synthetic, which expires, by the way, in 50 days. So we definitely don't need to talk about that. All right, so what about price fluctuation yesterday? What happened? MSTR, of course, my dumbass, it jumped up. I'm like, all right, I got to buy this before it goes crazy. I bought it when it was up like 3%, and then it went back down. I'm like, never fails. But that's what I get for rushing. Either way, no complaining. MSTR ended up, for the day, up 0.36%. MSTY went up 0.3%. So let's take a look at the numbers. They're kind of the only ones just hanging out with their trades for next week. Got to get all these things in the one screen. There you go. All right, so as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here, right? Maybe one more zoom. Okay, there we go. What in the hell, right? Look at all this. All right, so as far as what expires today, a lot going on there, but we look safe. I'll start from the lowest strike. That's the 380 contracts, 146 strike, 10.14% out of the money, one trading day. Okay, no problem. Then 330 contracts, 148 strike, 11.65% out of the money, no problem there. And then 31,000 approximately contracts, 150 strike, 13.16% out of the money. Should they have closed these already? Apparently not. Apparently they made the right move, so they are looking to pay as little as possible to close these out. So if MSTR goes up today, I mean, I doubt they'll go up 13%, but if they do, maybe there's a chance they could lose on some of these contracts. But, you know, we'll see. But it looks to be okay. Now, the contracts for next week, you know, they did the 500 the day before, then the 500 yesterday. Yesterday's was 143 strike, 7.88% out of the money. The one from yesterday, by the way, it sits 9.38% out of the money. So what are they yielding on yesterday's? 91% versus the IV of 76. Yesterday's, though, they yielded exactly 76. So obviously a pretty good trade then. I'm trying not to redo yesterday, but, you know, mention little things because, you know, I thought about redoing both days in one video, but for the people that actually watched it on Instagram, that would not be fair. All right, outstanding shares did go up by 225,000. So the recap is 30-day IV, 76%. Outstanding shares, 19.6 mil. Total net income, 7.9 mil. Total distribution, 40 cents. Daily income, 2 cents. Daily yield, 0.07%. Annualize that, 26.35%. It'll get better once they close out these contracts, hopefully for very cheap. Then they use all that money into, you know, what they'll produce for the following week, which I'll add into the new estimate that's coming up. Reaction, yeah, kind of like, I guess, a handshake. Good job. You know, MSTY, this was another one, man. Over the weekend, we were like, what in the hell is happening? But it looks like it's going to turn out well. So let's shake their hand and let's move on. All right, synthetic loss, 46 mil. So let's just look at the short call income, 7.9 mil. That brings in 40 cents per share. Throw that into the estimator. That's a 51 cent estimate with a 26% yield. That number I will not use, so let's go to the red number. We will focus on that alone. Since their IV is 76%, that would come to about $1.48 per share. Compare that to last month, which was $1.94. Kind of upsetting, but, you know, not a terrible number. This doesn't mean that's what they're going to pay. This is just what I'm showing. And it doesn't mean that's what my estimate is. I'll have to do further review and let you guys know. But that's what I'm showing as of now. As far as the holdings, again, you got the synthetic, expires way far away. Then you can see, okay, the 9/6s, oh, I didn't highlight these properly. Way too much action with these, you know, these trades. Too much going on. All right, so in blue, we can ignore row 9 and row 10. So I'll get them out of the picture. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can if I zoom in. So just have the 830s, right? So you see these blue 830s? These expire today. They cost 9 cents, 10 cents, and 11 cents. So if MSTR stays flat today, these will only get cheaper and cheaper to close. If MSTR goes down today, this will become much cheaper right away, and then they can close them even better. If MSTR goes up, there's a possibility. Obviously, these will cost a little more to close. So it depends. They don't know what's going to happen, but obviously it looks pretty secure. We haven't looked at the pre-market yet, but we'll get there. So good job. Good job, MSTY. Last but not least, TSLY. TSLY has a 210 synthetic that expires in 50 days. TSLY also has a 215 synthetic that expires in 50 days. Both are now, Tesla is under the strike for both, but again, we got time. All right, so again, Tesla closed out their trades the previous day on the muted video. Some people like the muted videos because they didn't have to hear my voice. So I guess on future videos, what they can do is mute their phone or their TV or their computer. All right, so Tesla did go up 0.26% yesterday, and TSLY said, screw you, I'm going up 0.45%. Okay, so where do we stand heading into next week? We got 30,648 contracts, 215 strike price, 4.23% out of the money. We got 2,215 contracts, 217.50, 5.44% out of the money. What are they yielding for these suckers? 45%, 35%? That's not a lot. So if they're not going aggressive, maybe not aggressive enough. But again, I'll take it. It seems to be reasonable at this point. Outstanding shares did go up by 200,000. So the recap is 30-day IV, 46%. Outstanding shares, 51.2 mil. Total net income, 1.2 mil. Total distribution, 2 cents. Daily income comes out to 0, obviously, because it's a fraction of that. Daily yield, 0.01%. Annualized yield, 2.73%. They're kind of happy because they won their trades for the week, but overall, really shitty income for the month because they have a synthetic loss and their short call income sucks. So again, if we take that, the estimator, it looks ridiculous. It looks like a normal stock, your everyday stock, 3% yield used to be a respectable yield in the pre-option ETF days. Now, oh my God, we spit on that. So we'll have to go to the red estimate. The red estimate is based on implied volatility. The implied volatility of Tesla is 47%. So we are thinking the estimate is going to be more like 52 cents, which is, half of what it's been. But the prior 2 months, they were making some decent money. So that's why they were able to pay $1. This month, obviously not really making money. But they're still going to, again, it is an income fund. So they're still going to try to yield you something within the range of, whatever the 30-day IV is. All right, so outstanding holdings. We have a 210, a 215 synthetic, obviously hanging out, just chilling. And then we got the weeklies for next week. No reason to talk about these, so we can move on. 684.7 net asset value. The NAV is 1337, trade price 1336. Okay, so that's the trades. Let's get to the pre-market. This is as of, what time is it? 4:28 a.m. Tesla is up 1.42%. It's at 209.20. TSLY is up 1.5%. It's at 1356. NVDY is up 1.67%. It's at 119.55. NVDY is up 1.24%. It's at 25.34. CONY is up 1.36%. It's at 190.84. CONY is up 1.75%. It's at 1572. MSTR is up 1.4%. It's at 134.41. MSTY is up 1.41%. It's at 23.66. TSLL is up 2.9%. It's at 922. TNA also is up 1.63%. It's at 44.23. AMDY is up 2.37%. It's at 14.71. AMZY is up 0.26%. It's at 1907. Bitcoin is up 0.37%. It's at 59,478. BitX is up 0.65%. It's at 2640. Every single one is green. Wow. So again, this is as of 4:30, so take it with a grain of salt. We'll see what happens when the market actually opens in 5 hours. Yes, we have to wait freaking 5 hours for the stock market to open, right? So normal everyday people, they can make trades now, right? Before work, but the stock market is only open during the hours when people are at their jobs. So again, I always complain about that. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. That's what makes crypto, a little different. It's just like always available. All right, guys, sorry, I'm a little out of it today because again, on one part, I'm thinking I'm recording this and there's going to be no audio because they're in my head now. YouTube got my head. But the other reason is I'm not allowed to drink any water. I always drink water. So, and I couldn't have coffee, couldn't have any liquid because I don't know if you haven't heard yesterday's video, I'm going snip today. All right. I'm going to get snipped this morning, actually in a few hours. So that should be fun. But obviously, we'll see how that goes. So I'll be off from work, which is good. However, I'll be recovering, and that should be very exciting, I'm sure. But I'll be available, at least chatting away on the Discord, chatting away on here. I'll do some content if I can. I'll go live if I can. It depends. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's some fun stuff. Well, hopefully I can still get home, make some trades, have some fun with the market. But obviously you know what the key word's going to be today now. But before that, as always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, we will try again tomorrow. If you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below. For those of you that did go to the Instagram and followed me, thank you very much. Very appreciative. I do post on there sometimes, mostly about my YouTube stuff. But either way, I'll try to keep that in mind and post more content as I go. Obviously, I have a Twitter as well for those of you that want to follow me there. But the main source is, of course, YouTube, where I post the most content nowadays. All right, guys. I got to get moving. Got to get ready, get on the move to get some snip done. So anyway, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, all you have to do is type in the comments, snip. That is the keyword for today. So all you have to do is type in the comments, snip. And then obviously, if you have any other questions or concerns, leave them down below. All right, guys, that's all I really got for today. So thank you for watching, assuming there's sound, of course. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. Later.